Hi, my name is Emily. I am serving on the Sydney team this year. So my life has been a little bit of a roller coaster, especially the last few years. I grew up in a family that didn't believe in God, so I was actually an atheist for most of my life. Growing up, I moved around a lot as a kid, which was great. A really big part of my childhood was actually my parents getting divorced when I was 10. Going into high school was pretty hard. I had just been from a recently divorced family. We'd moved town and I was taking that out a lot on the people that I went to school with. So I was a bit of a bully. I had a bit of an attitude on me, I suppose you could say, and I was also a water skier, and that's what I loved doing. I went to nationals, which was fantastic and an incredible opportunity. When I was nearly 16, I was going to year 11, I had a really bad water skiing accident. The boat was going at 52 kilometers an hour when I fell off, and I travelled about 20 metres across the water, and I came to a stop and I landed face down in the water. And I'd fallen off enough times in my skiing career to know that it was a pretty bad fall, especially when I couldn't flip myself onto my back. And I remember just laying in the water, knowing that I was drowning, thinking, God, if you're real, then save me. And nothing really prompted me to ask that question. I'd heard about it from school. I thought if this kind of idea of God or something being bigger than me was out there, then it was worth a try. I guess I prayed and I said, God, if you're real, then save me. And I was looking up at the sky a couple of seconds later, wondering what had happened. And for 8 weeks, I was in this thought of, okay, that was just a concussion. Kind of was trying to push it aside because for me, there could not possibly be a reason for there to be a God. Especially with the fact that I hadn't exactly been the best person in the world in the previous years in my high school. Eventually, it came to the point where I just couldn't refuse it anymore. The curiosity was just too much. So I went to my religious education teacher and he introduced to me this idea of faith. And I haven't looked back since. I got baptized in 2015 and yeah, life as a Catholic was amazing and incredible. In 2017, I was invited to go to a summer school. Summer school is a week-long retreat and it was my first kind of real encounter with youth mission team. And I remember sitting in one of the talks done by a past teamie and I was thinking, wow, they have like such an incredible presence. And I was like, that's something that I would really love to be able to do one day. But I got really sick on the last day of that summer school, a couple of days after that talk. So I was 20 years old and obviously team was not going to be an option for me that year. And I ended up in hospital and I was told that I'd had a stroke. I was in hospital for a couple of weeks and it kind of put everything into perspective on how short life was. I had to learn how to walk again and talk again. It was so hard because I'd always relied on my body. I was an athlete just years earlier and here I was having to be helped just to go to the bathroom or to get up out of bed and to feed myself. And it was a very humbling experience, especially when I thought maybe this is a calling that I could follow with team, and then having that kind of ripped away because of my health was really hard. But yeah, and then at the end of 2017, I was diagnosed with a brain aneurysm and I was ultimately told that I was terminal. I wasn't going to live to make the age of 25. And I was 21 years old and I actually didn't really share it with anyone. I wanted to just live my life. Then 2019 came around and I managed to get most of my movement and my feeling back, and it was honestly a bit of a miracle. I started having seizures and I had 500 to 600 seizures between March and July of 2019. It was a really, really tough time. And it got to a point in July where things were looking pretty bad, especially for this brain aneurysm. And on my way home from this particular appointment, I went past this little chapel and I was able to sit down. And I remember just looking at Jesus and I felt like I just had to say yes to whatever was going to happen next. And I didn't want to say yes. I was really tired. I'd lost a lot of weight. I was scared. I was kind of just at peace with the fact that I was going to die. On the Monday, I got a call from my neurologist saying that there was a trial coming to Australia. And so I said yes. And I have been seizure free ever since then, ever since July 13th, 2019. It was amazing because it gave me a new lease on life. When it came to apply for the 2021 team, I decided to go for it, and I was told that I would in fact be joining Youth Mission Team. And I was so excited. I was placed on the Perth team. It was an amazing, amazing year. I also turned 25 last year, despite what the doctors said. With that, a lot of anxiety kind of came up, and so when it came to the possibility of doing a second year, it was very daunting to me. But I knew that God was putting this call in my life for a reason. So I am now on the 2022 team here in Sydney, and yeah, God hasn't disappointed me, that's for sure. And over our mid-year break in July, I got a whole lot of scans done to check on the brain aneurysm to see if it's growing or if there's any unusual activity happening. And I went in there pretty nervous. I don't like getting the scan. I went into my appointment and the neurologist had told me that it had shrunk and that I wasn't terminal anymore. God has essentially given me 60 years left, and now I am faced with what am I called to in this life? But it's a new and exciting prospect to have. And I'm so glad that I'm able to do that on my second year of Youth Mission Team.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Em.
You are welcome.
It's such a blessing to be able to hear like how God works in someone's life. Since your mid-year news, how many times have you shared that story?
A lot.
A lot.
Especially people that have prayed for me. It was so exciting, like calling different people and being like, oh my gosh, guess what?
Like people can relate to your story as well. Like when they're in a moment of despair, honestly. Like it's a pretty big deal to think you probably will die soon to not.
Yeah.
I want to honour you for telling your story and sharing it with us and the internet people. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day, night, week. Like, comment, subscribe. It's so cringy every time I have to say that. Yeah, see you in the next video. Bye. I'm so glad I didn't cry.